All right, and we're live. Finally, welcome to the live stream, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. Just let me know that you can hear me in the comments below, that it's coming through okay, that it's loud enough. Just been sorry for the lateness. I've just been having a few technical difficulties, which doesn't usually happen, but it's been happening today. See, Jeej is already there. Hey Jeej, how's it going? And yeah, so if you can let me know in the comments that it's sounding okay, then that would be fantastic. I'm just gonna sort of adjust the levels as we're going, just to make sure that it's loud enough and that everything is kind of coming through clearly, because obviously I want the sound to be as best as I can make it. So today we're talking about fingerpicking tips that I'd wish I'd learned sooner, and these are sort of just a few things that I want to kind of look at, and I'll be sort of doing demonstrations and covering some of my songs and stuff to give you examples. But these are just, I feel, that are very important things when you're exploring fingerpicking, and I wish I had kind of paid attention to them a bit more when I was learning. So hopefully it's going to be useful and informative. Very clear, perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jeej. Appreciate that as always. And let me know if it's peaking at all, because I was having a few when I was doing some songs. I was actually clipping a little bit, so that's why I was just kind of adjusting things. But we'll see how we get on. All right, so I'll go straight into it because I don't want to kind of waffle too much, and I know everyone usually has comments and questions, so still like always, I choose a topic, but we don't have to necessarily just talk about this topic. You can ask me any question, just keep it coming in. I just will say a few things, and before I kind of look at the comments section first. And the first thing I want to kind of cover is I feel the most important for me, especially when I'm performing or recording or anything, is dynamics, is looking at dynamics, and specifically on the right hand. And this is something that I've kind of talked about a lot with other musicians and some of my students as well, and having control over the fingers independently on your right hand is something that obviously that you will get over time, but it's something that was also you can kind of concentrate and realize earlier on. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say you have a chord. I'm in Dadgad here, but it doesn't matter. You could be in any tuning. This would work. A standard fingerpicking pattern on the right hand, and whatever chord. This just happens to be A minor. Right. All of the strings are around the kind of the same level in terms of volume and dynamics, right? Roughly, give or take, but to have control over your fingers independently, and your thumb, obviously, to kind of give a few dynamics, can really give a kind of completely different feel to the song, depending on what mood you want to bring, and what kind of feel you're after. I usually So I'll just do like a little experiment on this, and you know, so I can make the A here kind of more prominent, you know. You know, which gives a certain feel, and make these higher notes, you know, a little less volume-wise, you know. But alternatively, what I like to do whenever I'm improvising, or whenever I have like a moment where I want the higher notes to kind of be more present, then I'll make these notes kind of quieter, you know, and I'll make the higher notes a lot more present. And I mean, I could even do it a little bit better there. It's actually, it seems like it would be really easy, but it's actually harder than it looks. It's to really, so what I'm doing, these sort of notes, you know, they're actually A and an E and another A, you know, an octave above. So it's just two roots and a fifth, basically. And to really, I'm using my thumb and my finger and kind of make them really low and really quiet. But then the other notes, I want to be really loud and clear and present. You know, it's quite hard to kind of do that in a natural way, you know. Because it's so easy to get carried away, and for this to then start to get louder as well, you know. So that's kind of the first thing that I want to kind of cover and look at, and I'll do a little demonstration of this in terms of a song. I don't know if I'll do the whole song, but we'll see here. We'll see. I'll just take a look at the comments and see what we got. Jeej, what type of clip-on tuner using? I usually take this off, actually. That's don't know how to say that. Good eye. It's my Snark Air. It's the Snark Air. That's just what they're called, Snark Air tuner. I talked about it a few times before. It's nice because it's like, it really hides, you know, not like the other Snark tuners, which have like a you know, kind of a what would you call it, like a handle sort of thing, and then the round thing on the end. I just don't like the way they look. This is just a lot more kind of compact, plus you can charge it via USB, so you don't have to buy the batteries and all this. You might have heard me talk about this a few times. Yeah, I've just got it kind of clipped on there, but I usually actually put it away before a performance or live stream, unless I really need it, you know, unless I know that I'm going to be changing lots of tunings. But I was so fixed on the technical issues before the live stream that I forgot to do that, but it doesn't matter. We have Diego from Argentina. Hey Diego, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream. What time is it in Argentina right now? It's probably like, is it middle of the day? Sort of afternoon, maybe? That's just a complete guess. In Berlin, it is 9:30 in the evening. So I don't know how long I'll do this live stream tonight, because I was quite tired before I got all the technical issues, and now and now I'm still quite tired, even more tired. And that's usually the case, though, isn't it? It's for me. Yeah. So it won't be a long one, this one. But so we're talking about, for anybody that's joined, we're talking about fingerpicking tips that I wish I had learnt sooner. And one of the things, these are really things that I feel will kind of set you apart from other pickers, you know, is the first thing I was talking about is dynamics. Dynamics on the right hand with the right hand fingers, you know. I love using different dynamics because most of my recordings are mainly acoustic guitar and vocals, you know. If you listen to any of my songs, my recorded songs, any of my albums, they're mainly focused on the guitar and the vocals. I do have other instruments, but it's definitely the first thing, the most important thing for me is the guitar and the vocals. Little bits of other instruments here and there, not anything too crazy, you know. I really just enjoy the different sort of textures I can get with just a guitar and vocals, you know. So that's kind of what I like to talk about. And when you're especially when you're performing in front of an audience and you have a whole, I don't know, 2-hour set, you know, you kind of want to make things a little different if it's just you and the guitar. So that's why I really try and focus on dynamics, because it's one way that I can kind of make things a bit more interesting, you know, have lots of dynamics. So I'm going to try this now. So I'm going to do a song. It's a traditional song from England, from the north of England. It's like a mining song. It's called Banks of the Dee, and but I don't know if I'll do the whole song, but I'll just do it as an example, and I'll do a few of these as examples as we go here, and I'll try and kind of use these dynamics on my right hand, having different dynamics with the right hand fingers. Here we go. It's called Banks of the Dee. I'll put a bit of reverb on my vocals here. Here we go. 1, 2, 2. Saturday night by the banks of the Dee, and I met an old man under stress I could see, and I sat down beside him, and to me he did say, oh, I can't get employment for me here, it's turned grey. Oh, I am an old miner, aged 56. If I could get lots, what I'd raffle me picks.
I'd sell 'em and I'd hoe 'em away. But I can't get employment for me hair, it's turned grey. Last Wednesday night to the reckoning I went, to the culinary office I went straight for an nest. And I got me wage packet and I was walking away when they gave us me notice for me hair, it's turned grey.
So that was Banks of the D, and hopefully you noticed there, hopefully I was able to show you kind of how I like to use dynamics with fingerpicking, but using it in a way where I'm using dynamics with the different fingers, you know. So it's not just like I'm playing really loud or I'm playing everything really quietly. It's I'm playing certain strings quieter that I want to be kind of lower in the mix, and then certain strings and notes louder that I want to be higher and more present. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, let me know below if you use anything like that. You like to use dynamics while you play, or if you're struggling with that, or that's something that you interested in. I'll go to the comments. Who we got here? Diego says it's 4:30. Yeah, I thought it was the afternoon. Nice. You normally, hey Jasper, how's it going? You normally emphasize the downbeat. Yeah, it depends. It kind of depends on the song, I guess. But Like this song definitely was like. Yeah, I guess it's kind of depends on what I want the feel to be of the song, you know. But this one for sure, yeah. G says, I do an exercise to try and improve finger independence. Pick on chord. Play a bar within the strong with the strong thumb, then index, then middle, then ring, then repeat, getting faster and faster. Yeah. Yeah. So you mean like you play a chord, whatever that is. It's A minor. And then you emphasize each finger, right? So we go like, and then you go middle, and then ring. Yeah, that's a good one. It's actually quite tricky to then to go between those. Is that what you mean? Kind of thing, something like that. That would be really cool. I would probably start slower. Yeah, and then build up. That's a good one. That's really good. Yeah, completely for string independence, finger independence. Sorry. Jasper says, I strictly dedicate fingers to dedicated strings. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too strict with it, you know. I generally, as a general rule, I kind of say my thumb is for the lower, in terms of, I say lower in terms of pitch, the lower three strings, you know, the three bass strings, and then my three fingers are for these three high ones. But that, you know, that kind of changes. I often use my first finger on the D string there, you know, and stuff like this. So and then I can move my thumb up to the G string sometimes. You know, I'm not too strict with it. But as a kind of a loose rule, yeah, the thumb kind of generally stays with the bass, you know, and then the other fingers kind of go for the higher notes. But yeah, exactly. G says, nice capo. Great tune too. Yeah. I think you saw the short that I did, right? On this capo. Yeah. It's a very nice capo. I usually use thumb, 4, 5, 6, and the other fingers 1 string each. Okay, you use the thumb for the 4th, 5th, and 6th. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the same. 4th, 5th, and 6th, and the other fingers 1 string each. Yeah, exactly. That's basically kind of what I do as well. But it's not a strict rule, you know. Depends on the song and depends you know, what I'm trying to do. All right, cool, nice one. Keep with the questions, guys. Keep with the comments and the questions. It's all good. We'll move on because I don't want to be too long. On this one, I'll probably just do a short one today. The next thing I want to talk about is only playing the notes that need to be played. So I think this applies a lot for people that play a lot in standard tuning, maybe less for open tunings. But I see a lot of people basically playing a chord. I'll do it in a different key. We'll go up a bit. choosing a chord, you know, and then just putting a finger picking pattern on the right hand on that chord, and then doing the same. So I've talked about this in the past of like, make sure you know all the notes that you're playing, you know, and if you have to go through each one and just kind of figure it out, which are the notes that you're actually playing, and try and figure out what the notes that you need to be playing, you know. I don't think you necessarily need to know all the notes in every chord that you're playing all the time, you know, as long as you can go back and kind of figure it out. But as long as you kind of know the basic kind of ones, you know, if you play a lot of open chords, I see this a lot, people playing open chords, and then just putting a finger picking pattern on the right hand, you know. Let's say C. Let's take a C chord, right? I mean, this is not a standard C chord. Be something like that in standard tuning. Remember, I'm in Dad Gad here, and I've got the capo on the 5th fret. But ignore all that. Other than that, right? It's worth kind of going in and looking at exactly, okay, what notes do I need to play a C chord? You know, it's really just 3 notes: C, E, and G. And if you know that, you think like, okay, do I need to be playing all of these notes? And maybe you do. Maybe that's what you're going for. But it's worth kind of thinking about, okay, if the C just needs a C, E, and a G, then really that's my C chord there, you know. It's a lot easier to play. Plus it frees your fingers up to add more notes to it, you know. You know, I'd like to add that a D in a C chord. I think it sounds quite nice. You know, so it's worth thinking about if you're one of these people that just maybe you're just learning finger picking and you're just putting chords, the same chords that you do when you're strumming, just you put a finger picking pattern on the right hand. It's worth really thinking about, do you need to be playing all of these notes? And a lot of the time what I'm doing, like for the song that I'm going to do now, it's a song called Memories. And I'm not really thinking in terms of chords too much, you know. I kind of am, but not in. I'm more thinking about in terms of like bass lines and melody lines and this kind of thing. But my kind of chord, sometimes, you know, sometimes I'm just kind of playing 2 notes, you know, and that's my G chord, for example, you know, just 2 notes or 3 notes, and you know, that's two G's, 2 G's and a D, you know, something like this, and it just really frees you up, and it allows you to basically play chords with almost 1 finger a lot of the time on my left hand, you know. And when I'm playing chords with like 1 or 2 fingers on the left hand, that really frees me up to be playing all these other notes, you know. So I'm kind of, in a way, I'm tricking the audience a little bit in they're thinking that I'm playing maybe a lot more than I actually am, you know, because you don't necessarily need to be playing all of the notes in a certain chord, you know. Obviously it depends on what kind of chord you're going after, but a lot of the time, you know, I'm just playing like a root and a 5th. That's it, you know. I'm not even putting a 3rd in there, you know, because I just want a bit of a feel of that chord, you know, and that really frees me up. to kind of stick these other notes in. And I'll do a little bit of demonstration here. I'll play this song, Memories, and you can kind of hear how, listen to the bass line, and this is basically my chords. And I'll just be sticking a few of these sort of open strings and a few fretted notes over the top, but that's pretty much it. So have a listen to this. Here we go. It's called Memories. All right, here we go.
We were young, we used to head down to the southern coast. What I enjoyed the most was the sun and the lovely sea. Fresh sea air, it smelled the best. When the tide was out, I used to run and shout, release the bird in me. The memory of that feeling was so free. Sand in between my toes, sun cream, it's on my nose. The water comes up to my knees. It's these moments in memory. Sunday morning, me dad said, everyone in the car, I don't have to drive too far. I roll my window down, radio on and blasting, cruising steadily. Who can see the sea is the first to make a sound, and I'm the first to say what I have found. Sand in between my toes, sun cream, it's on my nose. The water comes up to my knees. It's these moments in memory. Sand in between my toes, sun cream, it's on my nose. The water comes up to my knees. It's these moments in memory.
So that was Memories. So hopefully you heard there that I what was going on, what I was doing there. Obviously, it's something that I do use a lot because I'm in an open tuning, you know, and I do like to use a lot of these open strings when I'm using the open tuning. But I also like to do that when I'm just in standard tuning. I haven't actually got a guitar nearby me right now in standard tuning, and then I could demonstrate it. But you know, I do like to do this as well, especially in G. I think I've done a YouTube video just on why I love the key of G and the G fingering, you know, because it's just a really nice it's a nice position to start in, you know, because the root is kind of a little bit higher up rather than the root being the lowest note that you can play. It's a little bit higher up, you know, and I really like that because it gives you room to kind of go down, you know. And I really like that. But what I was saying is basically, you know, think about do you need to be playing all of these strings? And maybe you do, all of these notes, sorry, and strings. Maybe you do, and that's the sound that you want, which is cool. But maybe you haven't thought about it before, you know, because there's all kinds of things and options you can do if you just kind of play less notes, you know. And a lot of these open notes, they're just repeating the same 3 notes, you know. Like in G, it's basically G, B, D. You know, a lot of, if you play the standard G chord, it's repeating those 3 notes. So it might not be something that you necessarily need to be playing or want to be playing. You're just automatically doing it because we just know these shapes so well, you know. So that's something to think about. But, and also, touched on it before, but when you're thinking about that, you can also do different inversions. So you don't have to be putting the root on the bass, you know. You can just mix up those notes, try these notes in different places on the fretboard, you know, and experiment around, because that's the beauty of fingerpicking or fingerstyle. Playing with your fingers is you can literally pick out the notes that you want to be playing, you know, rather than strumming. You kind of, with your strumming, you kind of have to think about, okay, what are all the strings doing, you know. Even if you're not playing the all of the strings, you still need to be kind of muting them somewhat, you know, if you're strumming all of them. But with picking, you don't, you know. You can really kind of just play a few notes, but if you spread them out, then they can, even just a few notes can sound really nice, you know. So that's that part that I wanted to talk about. And there's pretty much just one more thing, 2 things really, but they're related, that I want to talk about, and then I'll do one more song and then we'll end it. But before I do that, I want to let's take a look at some of the comments, see what's going on here. Jasper says your picking is more arpeggios than alternate bass picking. Is that question for me? I think it is. I would say it's more alternate bass, really. That's my kind of my go-to kind of thing, you know, Travis picking or whatever you want to call it. That's kind of my go-to thing. But I do adventure out, and that's something that I want to kind of talk about, is adventuring out from different finger picking patterns. Yeah. What is that? PPK soon Sahonen sorry, butchered that, sorry. Says, been playing 5 years only, fingerstyle, and now I can say I can handle that. Nice. I just can't play with a pick. Yeah, I mean, it's Picks are okay, you know. I don't really play with a pick. I much prefer to kind of feel the strings with my fingers. But you know, there's plenty of great players that play with picks. A lot of people do this sort of hybrid picking, you know, when they play with a pick and then they're still kind of using these three fingers. I know a lot of guitarists that do that, which can be really cool. But yeah, nice one. G says, I wish I had known about reducing the notes in a chord when I was a beginner. It frees up your fingers and allows to be much more creative with adding interesting notes. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, it does. It just frees up things and lets you explore. So I really recommend that to people when they're doing it, is just think about the notes that you need to be playing and experiment around. Thanks, Geej. Appreciate that. Using alternate tunings taught me a lot about which notes are really necessarily. Yeah, that's a good point of like using alternate tunings and open tunings can really teach you about the notes, especially if you're using different keys. You know, you'll notice that a lot of my songs are not just in the key of D major or D minor, you know, which is like the open, the first kind of key of dadgad, if you will. So, you know, if it kind of forces you to learn a little bit about what notes that you want to be playing and that you need to be playing and where they are, you know. So that's a good thing. Hey Theo, is it Theo? Thilo, or is it pronounced Tilo? Tilo Mutter says, good evening from Prague. I apologize, everyone. I just butcher people's names because it's a mixture of me coming from the UK and being dyslexic. You know, I have to read out people's names and it doesn't end well. So I apologize, everyone. But I think the regulars are used to that. All right. We're going to move on to the last point here. As I said, I was a bit late coming in. I don't want it to go on for too long and go on too late. But the last point basically is switching up your finger picking patterns. And that kind of goes in hand with improvising as well. And the last song that I'm going to do, I can kind of demonstrate this a little bit. I haven't played this song in a while. So with like my I guess my standard my go-to finger picking pattern is alternate thumb picking, you know, or Travis picking, or whatever you want to call it. It's this sort of thing, you know. So it's like thumb, finger, and then you thumb again, and then another finger. This kind of stuff, you know, which is great, which can be really good, you know, especially if you have like rhythmical stuff, you know. It can really kind of set the motion rather than doing it in a maybe like an arpeggio kind of way, which might be something like, I don't know, which can also be good, you know, if you want that low note to come in less, you know. You know, I do some ones a bit like that, and that can be a different feel. So explore different finger picking patterns on the right hand. Try and learn different ones. Get used to doing that, because when I speak to a lot of people, they definitely have their kind of their go-to patterns. You know, it's a bit like strumming. We all have our like. Especially if you're a strummer. I'm not really too much of a strummer, but you know, you have your like standard strumming kind of patterns, you know, and that's your go-to thing. It's good to kind of explore out of that and try different things. And when it comes to improvising, especially, I love to improvise with fingerpicking because it kind of forces me to play different things and forces me to kind of go to the edge of what I can do and what I know. It's a little bit of this kind of risk factor, that I like, especially when playing live, So I really, with every song, I try to have some kind of improvisation somewhere in there. And so this next song I'm gonna do, it's quite a mellow song. It's Hard Time Killing Floor Blues by Skip James, of course. And it's not really alternate thumb picking I do. I'll just do the kind of the main riff. It kind of is still alternate thumb picking if I bring it down to its bare bones, but it's kind of this slow, almost swing kind of feel, And I'm gonna try and, especially when improvising, try not to be locked in this pattern, I still want to keep the rhythm going, I think that's important, especially in a song like this. I still want to keep that rhythm going, but it's I'm also trying to just improvise as well, and play the bass notes as well. So a lot of the time, especially when I'm improvising, I will just strip it back as bare bones as I can get it, and I will just be playing my thumb, playing the bass line, and then I'll be improvising with my fingers, So it's I don't want to make things too hard for myself, but I don't want the audience or the listeners to feel like something like the rhythm has changed or the feeling has changed, still trying to capture that kind of that rhythm and that picking pattern, but in a very simple way. So don't be afraid to kind of switch it up a little bit and simplify things. I think that's what I'm trying to express here, and really try and improvise. That's something that is, even if you're finger picking, I think a lot of finger pickers or fingerstyle players don't improvise enough. I don't see it too much, and I'd like to see it more because it's a wonderful thing when you can improvise. You just need to think about it a bit more, because obviously you're playing the bass line and you're improvising over that bass line, so you need to be able to simplify things, but still keep the feeling going and that rhythm, so I'll try and demonstrate this as best as I can in this song. Here we go. This is the last song that I'm going to do, by the way. I'm going to end it after this. So if you have any questions or anything like this, then make sure you get them in. Now's the time. So I'll answer it once I've finished this song. Here we go. Hard Time Killing Floor Blues. There we go. Bit of reverb. Here we go.
times I hate and everywhere you go. Hard times here and everywhere you go. People are drifting from door to door. Can't find no heaven, I don't care where they go. Hard times I hit and everywhere you go. Times is harder than ever been before. Hear me singing all this lonesome song. These hard times will drive you so long. Boy, you say you have money, oh, you better be sure. These hard times will drive you from door to door. Hard times I hate and everywhere you go. Times is harder than ever been before. Oh, you hear me singing all this lonesome song. These hard times will drive you so long. Was Hard Time Killing Floor Blues by Skip James. All right, so hopefully you were able to hear how I, going from the verse to the bit where I was improvising, I was able to kind of change things up and on my right hand.
and make it a bit more simple whilst I was improvising. So the thing to take away from that is to experiment with different picking patterns. I know we all have our kind of our go-tos, our favorites, but it's important to be able to learn other things and be able to kind of create your own ones within the moment. You know, this is what improvising is all about, and keeping it kind of being able to kind of bring it back to the bare bones and simplify what you're doing, so you're able to improvise as well, and then create other melody lines over the top whilst simplifying the bass line. So I hope that makes sense. I'll go to all the comments, and if we have any more questions or anything like that. What do we got? G says, do you ever use your little finger on your picking hand? I saw a flamenco player doing it incredibly fast. Yeah, so those flamenco guys, they or girls, they you know, they just go crazy. I don't. I've seen players use the little finger. I don't. I just don't find any use for it, really. You know, it's kind of just it can't really do anything for me. You know, a lot of the time I'm just using these three actually. You know, and then kind of sometimes using this one. But these three are the main ones. You know. And they're the ones I kind of like to stick to. I kind of like to keep it as simple as I can, you know, and I don't want to use too many fingers, you know. On my left hand, absolutely, you know, my left hand, the little finger is actually my most used finger, which is bizarre, because it can really get up there, you know, on the melody lines and stuff. Ever played in CGC? Was that CGCGCD? Yes, I have actually. I did a video on that once actually, I think. That's another tuning that I like to play in. That's also like a modal, you know, you've got a root, a fifth, a root, a fifth, a root, and a second basically, or a ninth depending on how you look at it. But yeah, it's like a sus9 or a sus2 chord, isn't it? It's really nice tuning and nice to get that low. I really love C tunings. It's really, you can get really low. I'd like to experiment more with C tunings, to be honest. Hey, many vibes, always late. I was actually late to the stream myself, actually. I'm gonna be ending it soon, just because I don't want too much of a late one. It's getting late here already. But good that you made it, and you can always watch the replays of these. I just leave them on. But good to see you. I'll be like in the last one in class trying to catch up, I reckon. That's funny. Yeah, thanks, Jeet. Another top tune. All right. Okay, I'm going to end it here, guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Sorry that I was late. I hope you got some value out of this one. I'm going to be experimenting a bit with the topics of the live streams. Again, you know, leave me your comments on suggestions, especially if you're in the community. There's a link, always a link in the description down below if you want to join our free community. Any suggestions is always welcome. You know, I'm going to be exploring with different stuff. Also, maybe exploring with different days. Maybe I do some weekdays sometimes, because I know a lot of people can't make the weekends because they're out on gigs usually. So a lot of people watch the replays, but I'm going to be experimenting with doing weekdays. Obviously, I'll try and schedule them plenty in time, like a few weeks before, so you'll have a bit of time. But I'll be experimenting with that. So hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, a wonderful Saturday, and I will see you all again next time. All right. See you soon. Bye.